I have finally made a decision. I have finally pulled the trigger, and some of you are going to appreciate and like my decision, and some of you will not. So just a quick recap, I have been considering either replacing or just selling my 250 Land Cruiser, as well as potentially selling the Ineos Grenadier to fund some of the options that I was looking at. I already made a full-length video talking about why I really do not like the new 250 Land Cruiser, so if you don't know my reasoning behind getting rid of this, just go watch that video. The Grenadier I absolutely love. The only reason why I would get rid of it is just the money factor. And yes, the parking situation in here is quite tight. Now, if I was going to replace the 250 Land Cruiser, there are a bunch of different options that I was considering. We'll just quickly go over them. The first one is the LX700H Overtrail. This is the true successor to the 200 series Land Cruiser. It's a triple locked SUV. It is expensive, but it's got a lot going for it. The next one is also a Lexus. It's the GX550 Overtrail. It's basically a 250 Land Cruiser, but better because it has adaptive dampers, EKDSS, and with some modifications, it can do really well, better than the 250 because it also has a 1-inch suspension lift from the factory. The next one was the Wrangler Rubicon 392. Jeep basically improved the Wrangler a massive amount for the 24 plus model year. They really improved the driving dynamics both on-road and off-road, and improved sound deadening and all that to make the Wrangler more daily drivable. And I did consider a few pickup trucks. The one that I took the most seriously was the new Ranger Raptor. I love the size of the truck, I love the performance that it has, and everything that it offers at the price point that it's at. So there is a 100% chance that I am trading the 250 for something else. I'm not just going to sell it, I'm going to trade it. And then when it comes to the Grenadier, it's 50-50. YouTube's currently in a little ad rate recession. This is not the first time this has happened. If it gets out of the recession in the next few months, then I should be able to keep the Grenadier. Now, I know some of you will be curious on the ad rate side of things. It's basically the same thing that happened back in 2020 where there was an economic shock back then. And so then advertising still happened, just at a lower rate. And so same thing's happening right now. In 2020, it took several months to recover, and so I think that the same thing's going to happen today. So I did not choose the Rubicon 392. I've already owned one, so it's kind of like been there, done that. I feel like the content has already kind of happened, and so as cool as it is with the V8, I just don't think it makes sense to get a Wrangler at this point. The next option that I did not choose is the Ford Ranger Raptor for a couple of reasons. First off, several other YouTubers have already bought them and done long-term tests on them, and so there's not a lot that I could add to the conversation other than the fact that I do live in Utah, which has much better off-roading than the other places that people own Ranger Raptors in. One of the guys is over on the East Coast, if I remember right. The other guys on the West Coast, they don't have a lot of large open areas to like really get into the Ranger Raptor like you have here in Utah. I mean, like, I can literally drive down the road and start going off of jumps. So, I mean, that part would be cool, but I've also already owned 3 Raptors, a Bronco Raptor, and then 2 F-150 Raptors, so I kind of feel like I've already been there, done that. Now, the final option that I am not purchasing is the Lexus GX550 Overtrail. I was this close to pulling the trigger on a GX550 Overtrail. You guys all want me to buy a GX550 Overtrail. I think it's going to be a vehicle that's going to continue to sell really well because it's got the V6, it's got the EKDSS, it has the adaptive dampers, it has a lot going for it. I don't like the vehicle. I don't like how it drives on road. It handles really well. It handles better than my 200 series Land Cruiser, but it's a lot less comfortable. It has less space inside as well because, again, with the 250 and with the GX, a lot of the width is with the fender and the fender flare rather than the body itself, so less space inside. And then when it comes to off-road capability, it doesn't have a lot of clearance. So yes, you can add aftermarket bumpers, and I kind of considered that as an option, but I also would have to put 34-inch tall tires on this vehicle with a V6 that has mid-300s for the horsepower to have similar clearance as what I have with my 200 series Land Cruiser. And again, this is just anecdotal, but when I've taken the GX off-road and when I've taken the 200 series and when I've taken the 250, the 200 series never bottoms out. The GX and the 250 both bottom out. And so it just shows with bigger tires, they have less clearance because everything just kind of hangs down a little bit lower, especially the 250. The 250 is worse than the bumpers. But anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is the GX to me basically feels like in the 250, it feels like it offers a similar experience to what you have with the 200 series. Not as good, but a similar experience at a slightly lower price point. But the thing with the GX is it's not that much less money. If I just get a base Overtrail, I'm still like $75,000, and after modifications, I'd be well over $90,000 into the vehicle. And I feel like my 200 series that was less money than that offers more than that. And so for me, the GX just felt like a big downgrade compared to what I currently own. I know that it would be really good for the YouTube views. That's why I very seriously considered it. But I think that I also need to like a vehicle to actually go, I mean, it's a lot of money to spend in a vehicle. So as good as it would be for the YouTube views, I'm just not gonna do it. This finally leads us to what I did go with, and that is the Lexus LX 700H Overtrail. Now, I know a lot of you are going to disagree with this choice because of the price and because of the massive, ugly front end, but hear me out. Unlike the 250 Land Cruiser and the GX, the new LX Overtrail is triple locked. It has a front, a center, and a rear locking differential. So this actually adds off-road capability to Toyota's SUV lineup that the 200 series does not already have. Now, the next thing that is really cool about the LX is it not only has the hybrid system that is gonna be really important for long-term testing when it comes to reliability, it also has the V6 that has been problematic in the Tundra and the GX. And so I can still show you guys whether or not Toyota's new turbo V6 is reliable over the long run. I do believe that the LX is going to be the best vehicle to test out the reliability of these new Toyotas with, because this is the pinnacle of Toyota build quality and material use. I mean, even things like the valve stem caps on the Lexus LX are of a higher build quality and better material use compared to any other vehicle you see within the Toyota lineup. And so my thought process with this LX is, excuse me, I get more off-road capability that I don't already have with my 200 series Land Cruiser, and I get to test out the new V6 that's been problematic in other vehicles. And if the LX ends up being reliable, that means that Toyota can in fact build a reliable turbocharged vehicle. But if it ends up being unreliable, well, that does not bode well for the rest of the lineup, because if Toyota is spending the most amount of time, effort, and energy to make this the best possible car, and it ends up not being the best possible car, there's no way that the Tundra or the GX or any of Toyota's other new turbocharged cars are going to be any better, because they use inferior materials and they have worse build quality compared to what you see with the LX. Finally, time frame. It's going to take a little bit over 3 months for me to get a hold of this LX, and that's because I'm going for the rarest version of the Overtrail. Let me explain. Most Overtrails are going to be equipped with a third row. I'm getting one that is only going to be equipped with 2-row seating. You can actually option that out. Now, the benefit of this is the third row sits on top of the battery, so you have very little vertical space. But if you get the 2-row option, you still have a little bit of space lost because of the battery, but you have barely less space than we have in a 200 series Land Cruiser. It's actually pretty good. Now, the next thing that makes this car really rare is the color. I'm getting it in Nori green. Most LX Overtrails are going to be finished in either earth, black, or gray. And so Nori green with a 2-row, it's basically a unicorn. But yes, I am able to get an allocation for one of those. And so it's going to take about, like I said, 3-ish months, maybe a little bit more for the car to come in. That means I've got 3-ish months to make enough money to be able to keep this thing in the garage. Wish me luck.